republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a moment of silence, please?
The email? Yeah, if you get it, I guess that's fine.
Roll call, Andrew?
Council President Chamberlain.
Here.
Councilor Schneider.
Here.
Councilor Quigley.
Here.
Councilor Griggs.
Present.
Councilor Scott Stewart.
Here.
We have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Council has had time to go over the prior meeting's minutes. Can we have
I would make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Motion to approve the prior meeting's minutes moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Councilor Griggs. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, we have 2 individuals wishing to talk with council this evening, and I think we're going to start with Ivan from Ivan Heights, Clinton Township Trustees.
Okay.
Oh, boy, he's got paper. You got
I got
5 minutes.
I got glasses too. I think Kathy and I shared glasses a couple
We
times.
did. I like mine better.
I'm here tonight, basically I'd like to start off and thank the city of Wauseon and the trustees. Dover Township was to attend, but they could be farming right now. And our other trustee, Larry Newswander, was going to be here, but he might be farming also. But anyway, I'd like to thank them. Also, Trevor from Gorham Township is here, and Trevor Hibbard. And also, I'd like to thank Chief Sluter and Assistant Chief Kessler in regards for all the help that they have compiled for us for this particular conversation. I thought I would have a different type of conversation today about EMS contract, but things have changed a little bit since we talked here with the council as a whole. The Board of Fulton County Commissioners' opinion is to wait until after the election to discuss EMS contract. Also, don't expect them at your upcoming meetings. Our opinion is to move forward to structure and fund a fire in an EMS district. This will give us flexibility to operate our own district or our own jurisdiction. The question today is how we go about funding an EMS district in the, or a new EMS new district. The city of Wauseon, Clinton Township, Dover Township, and Gorham Township think now is the time to start. There are many questions and many deadlines to meet, so I'm just going to open it up for comments to the council, mayor, and trustees. So if you have any comments, we've been through all this. So basically, if you have any questions in regards to us moving forward with this and how we're going to do it, I'll be happy to ask any questions. I'll try to answer them.
So, Fulton County Commissioners have decided they don't want to do anything until January after the new person is appointed, Ivan, or what's
No,
the story?
just after, they said after the election,
So after
which would be
November 3rd.
November. But with the guidelines and deadlines in getting something like this organized, there will be quite a few meetings that we'll have to put together. And then we'll also have to decide how we're going to place this on a ballot. And that's coming up in February of next year. The contract that we're in right now with EMS, county EMS contract, runs throughout all of next year. So that nothing's going to change until then. But in the meantime, we got to be proactive, and we got to get started on how we're going to move forward with this project. And the consensus with the townships that the Dover, Chester, or not Chester, Dover, Clinton, and Gorham all agreed, along with the city, to move forward with our own district. And This will give us options in regards to being able to run a jurisdiction the way we're running it now, where nothing is really broken. We just have to continue to move forward, because if they don't give us what we anticipated, was the funding that comes from our district right now is around $950-some thousand. And that's what we're asking the commissioners to give us, and they could continue to run the levy. But apparently they don't want to give us an answer, so we have to be proactive in getting something in place and move forward with that as a plan. We can't just sit on our hands right now. And I think it's just a matter of, you know, getting all of us on board. Like I said, the townships are on board with this. And we wanted to, in the city, in talking with the mayor and the chief and at the council of the whole that we had a while back, it seemed like we want to keep everybody informed, because the main thing is communication is very good, because if you get more information, you can make a better decision. And we've had so many meetings. We're just ready to be the model for Fulton County, if that's the word to say, for doing this EMS fire district combined and funding it ourselves. And our fire department is so advanced in my thinking. We already got everything in place. And I just want to say this: we're not trying to be an island. We're going to work with the county. We want everybody to know that we're going to be mutual aid, and protocols not going to change. We're not changing anything other than the funding mechanism. We will be the actual people that run the levy, and that's the only difference here. It'll be the same money. We're not going to increase the levy. We want to keep the levy as is, 4 mills, and we feel with it, that should be adequate to run the EMS program if you run it properly, and I think our fire department's doing that.
If we find our own levy, the 3 townships, do we still have to pay for the levy, the county levy?
That's a great question. The question he asked was, will we be double taxed? We've had so many conversations, and the commissioners, one commissioner, I should say, not all of them, but they're all aware of this, and they have got outside legal information about that. It wouldn't be in their best interest to try to run a levy over top of a levy. The constituents wouldn't be very happy about that. Could it happen? Yeah, we have overlay of taxes all the time with the state and you know, different things. But more than likely, we could work out an agreement with the commissioners. I'm not sure. Legal counsel will have to give us advice on how to work with this and the best way to approach it. I don't want to give wrong information. But yes, they can tax us over top of the levy. But first of all, we got to get our ducks in all in a row, and then we'll work with legal counsel to make sure we're doing the right things. And I think the public will be aware of this and know that what direction we're going. That's the main thing too. We got to keep ourselves informed as committees or as entities, but we also have to keep the constituents informed of how this is going to work. So it's just a process. We're in uncharted waters. We've never done this, but throughout the state there is different places that are doing this now, and it's working great. I think Henry County was even mentioned that they have part of their county doing some of a similar type of thing that we're going to do. It's possible you can have more than one district, and other smaller, for example, other townships that might not want to, well, for example, Dover doesn't have a fire department, so consequently they have to use our fire department and the EMS and that type of thing. So other townships could contract with us. I mean, there's a lot of options. I know, like I say, there's many questions. We're going to have to get something on paper and look at it. And if we don't move forward with this, we're going to have to accept the option that is given to us by the county. That's just kind of what it is. So I think we can be proactive and get our our information out, and it sounds like that's what we've had meetings about, and everybody seems to be on that page. Mayor, I think you have said kind of what the city would like to do, but she's always said she wants council to be involved, and that's very important. And just like we have 3 trustees, we all have to be on the same page.
And I think, again, like you just said, getting the information out to the community as to we're not changing our service, we're not changing how things are done, we're just changing the flow of what's collected in Clinton Township or Gorham or whatever will stay in those townships to be used and utilized. And
Yeah. The
having that
constituents won't
control.
notice any difference other than when they
The
go to the
service will
ballot.
still be the same from Wauseon as far as response and everything else. There's not going to be any change with that in that regard. But it is a matter of legal action and letting the community know. And like Evan said, I'm always on board knowing and understanding everything that's happening. We were a little shocked when we got that information that the county did not want to discuss it anymore until after the election, because we had had so many meetings prior. But, you know, that's their choice, and they have the right to do that for their reasoning. So as we do need to continue on and move forward.
So it's a month away, but the only reason, unless I'm wrong, the only reason they don't want to is to wait till the bill is off and the new commissioner is elected. Is that the only reason?
Well, that's, from the email, yeah, you can read a lot of things between the lines, so I really don't know exactly, but they did say their opinion at this particular time is to slow down, wait till after the actual election, and then what really didn't set well, I guess, with some, was don't expect us at your upcoming meetings, so they didn't even want to talk about it. That was a little bit of information that kind of made eyes perk up, ears perk up, and, you know. But to say that, they, like Kathy said, they have the right to do that.
They do.
and-
I'm just asking a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, we
Is
don't,
that-
nothing was stated in that.
They didn't want to say anymore? Well, we just need to go see them in November.
Well, I think we'll just, we'll make those decisions and see where we're at as we're going to continue, because the biggest thing about the levy is you have to have time to get it ready. And if you're making changes, you have to make sure that the communication to your community is very well taken before they would vote on something to change. So we want to make sure, and it's going to take time. And we're kind of actually, February is when we put this on, so we're running out of time to get this done. And we really want to make sure that it's done correctly. So
Exactly. Yep.
we really don't have time to wait 6 to 8 weeks on it.
I'm in favor of just having them continue on myself. I don't think we need to wait a month. We've done all this work ahead of time.
We've been
To
meeting
get all
on
the
this for a
meetings
year,
in.
over a year, Trevor? About a year.
Yeah, but there's been, the commissioners are not without information. They know where we want to go, and they just keep stalling, I guess, if the word is used. But
And they have to deal with the whole county, and
Yeah,
everybody's different.
there's-
Everyone's at a different place. And that's the one thing that they have to deal with or without us.
Understand. But I think we should move forward in November,
That's good.
after the election, when we know the new commissioner is elected. Then we need to move forward back again.
well, the thing is, the 3 commissioners that are there now can make a decision up till the end of the year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they choose to wait for the next person to come on, then we can move forward. But our particular, I want to state it again, is that we've been through all this, and it keeps coming back to the same old, same old. We need to, like Steve said, we just have to move forward with this. Whether we use this option or not, maybe they'll come back with the proposal that we first presented to them. But if we're not proactive with this, it just throws us behind. And, you know,
If besides the millage, though, there's a situation of the billing
Right.
services,
Mhm.
which we're not collecting all the money that we could collect, is that right?
As you can see that, as we talk, you know, there's more and more discussion. What would be the best of our interests is to form a appointed type of committee to get together. Keep you, the council informed, keep the trustees informed, get some counsel involved with it so we have some legal language for you to look at. There will be a little bit of a cost involved, you know, if we do hire outside legal counsel to put this together, that's all they work with is EMS contracts, such as what we're looking to do. So if we do that, then we need to have this board, we call it a board right now because it isn't, it's just that I'm collecting information more, and I think we've done all that. Actually, it's all about just the funding. We don't have to recreate the fire department, we don't have to recreate the EMS, that's all that stuff is, the protocols all in place. It's just the difference. The only difference is in the funding mechanism. We would be the vehicle to drive the levy, where right now it's the council or the commissioners.
More than actually prepared for all the billing.
Yeah.
We do it for our private ambulance, and we could use the same programming company that we use.
And Wauseon's already doing that. They got everything is in place. Actually, they will model their EMS program after what Wauseon's doing right now. I mean, they're already doing it. You have your own runs, you have your own billing. We're ready to go, you know, it's just that simple.
No, we just wanted to come and talk to you
Yeah.
and let you know this is. moving.
Thank you, Amy.
Next, we have Amy Huffman from Palmer Energy Company.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am here, so Palmer Energy, we're energy consultants. Want to take this up?
Yes.
And we represent the Ohio Municipal League. We're their energy consultant. We're also the consultant for the County Commissioners Association of Ohio. We've had that partnership for 13, 14 years. And then in 2017, we became the consultant for the Ohio Municipal League. So that is how I am in front of you. I reached out to the mayor and Dennis at the time and met, and so we are your consultant for all your electric needs. So I wanted to give you an update of where we're at. Your facilities are in a contract with Freepoint Energy. So we're the consultant. We look at your load and we RFP your load to multiple suppliers to get competitive pricing. It is the same contract for every community that we work with. So for the CCAO, we have Fulton County. We are in 68 of the 88 counties, taking care of county facilities. And then in 17, we started reaching out to cities. We already had some villages that had just joined because we have the program. That's more on the electric aggregation side. So I think we're in 28 counties doing electric aggregation, hundreds of townships, villages, and then cities as well. So we put the facilities into a contract with Freepoint Energy. It ends in May of 2022. You have a streetlights contract. Streetlights are looked at differently than general service. They're much lower in price because they're used off-peak. There's less capacity, so you can always get a lower rate. So we have a Constellation contract in place. Constellation is the supplier. We just put that in contract a couple months ago. That will end in May of 2023. That rate is 0.0298. Your facilities is 0.0495. And then the electric aggregation, that started in July of 19. It's ending July of 2021. And that's with Energy Harbor, previously known as First Energy Solutions. That's the supplier. And your fee is 0.0505. So that's where we are right now with the contracts. And with the electric aggregation coming up in July of 2021, we have, I don't know, maybe 35 different communities that their aggregation's up in 2021. So I think we have 7 different RFPs going out And your RFP will go out sometime December, early January, and it will go out with 5 other communities. So we send it out. It'll go out to anywhere from 8 to 12 different suppliers that we have all vetted. And then the process is, and it's similar with the facilities as well, we send it out, we go out for 12, 24, 36 months, that's typically the time frame. We get the results back. I show them to the mayor. The prosecutor, legal team looks at them to make sure the top few are, the supplier contracts are as you would want them. And then when we are good with everything, then I come back and refresh the price because electric pricing changes daily. And whoever is the top price, has the best price, then that's the price that the contract, is going to be signed. And that's how all of these got to be the supplier you're working with, because at the time, they were the best price offer out there. Any questions with any of that?
Yeah, quickly, RPs, what are RPs?
Request for proposal.
Okay.
So when we send it out, we say we'd like 12, 24, 36 months, or somewhere in that vicinity. They know for electric aggregation, our fee is 0.00045, so that's 4.5 mini mils. All of our electric aggregation has no early termination fee, so if a resident gets on it and then they decide to not be on it, they can leave it at any time. And so since this current one ends in July of 2021, we have to start it quite a bit early to go through the process. And then once the new supplier is determined and so forth, about 6 weeks before the end of this contract, the opt-out letters will go out to all of your residents and small commercial, anyone that's in the current government aggregation, and then anyone that is with the utility. If you are shopping on your own, you will not or should not receive the opt-out letter because you've chosen to work with a third party, a supplier, to do your own thing. It's not to say when that contract ends, you can get into the city's program at any time. That can happen. The opt-out letter goes out. It will say, City of Wauseon, this is your aggregation, this is the rate, this is the supplier. Do nothing and you'll be in it, but if you don't want to do it, then either call this number or the form will let you opt out.
That's when our phones start ringing.
Yes, and when the phones start ringing, you send them to me. It should be less and less as people get comfortable or knowledgeable. And then once that phase is over, then anyone that didn't leave, then the utility will send them a postcard or a letter that says, your supplier is changing. If you didn't want this, you have 7 days to call. So it's a 30-day window, and you have 2 opportunities your residents do to leave. Energy Harbor is your current one. If they happen to be Energy Harbor again, then I guess that letter from the utility won't come out because the supplier isn't changing. But regardless, the opt-out letter does, because it's not going to be the same way. Any other questions with that?
So this will be for not only city buildings, but anyone in the city?
No, so the electric aggregation is really a residential. It's for residents, but small commercial can get in as well.
Okay.
So your Main Street shops, a gift shop or small restaurant or something like that, anyone that uses under 700,000 kilowatt hours annually, which is actually a decent size, but I would assume something at that size is already probably
So is
shopping.
there going to be load meters? I have a load meter that's killing me.
That's a different conversation. This is just your general service. You have a load meter in your residence?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's one of the buildings
Okay, that's,
that Edison put there, but that won't pick it up.
yeah, that's an Edison.
So, but
Conversation.
if you want to opt out of Edison, can you go into this?
No, your utility is always Edison. What I'm talking about here is half your bill is deregulated. It's the supplier, it's the generation. That's what we can help you and assist you to get lower than the utility rate. Because if you want to be with Edison, you can for your generation. You are always with Edison for your utility. And the regulated portion is determined by PUCO, FERC, and so forth. So this is just that early 2000s, the state of Ohio became deregulated. And that's why I'm here. And why I have a job.
I just stayed with Edison
Yeah.
myself, but, so say I went with you,
Yeah, you still get your Edison bill.
this all comes on the same bill?
It all comes on the same bill. So now if you're full service, which would be an RSF on your bill, then everything there is all through the utility. And you can figure out what you're paying per kilowatt hour, which I don't even get to figure out. I think actually on the bill it will say, if you're gonna third party shop, it doesn't say it like this, but if you're gonna third party shop, make sure you're under this number. So it is not a fixed rate for the utility. Typically, your electric rates per kilowatt hour are higher in the summer, lower in the winter. The whole
Anything we can
usage.
do about that? Anything we can do about that? No? No.
No.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
The pool and the air conditioner kill me, okay?
At least
Yes.
you have a pool.
But so that's one of the reasons to have a good aggregation program. You know, that you're using a consultant that's going to vet it out to multiple suppliers to get the most competitive price. Right now with electricity, our contracts are all fixed. That's not to say that's going to be the way of the future, but right now that's what we do. And then for your facilities, so that's your city facilities, this building, yeah. So before we were your consultant for aggregation, which you had one in place directly through First Energy Solutions, I think. And it was a 6%, 4%. So 6% off for your residential and off the price to compare to utility. So whatever the utility, whatever Edison had, you were 6% better. For your small businesses, anything commercial was 4% better. And at the time, that's all that was offered. First Energy Solutions was the only supplier doing aggregation, and that was the only offer. Well, now it's matured, there's many more suppliers out there. You know, it's not as easy to run an electric aggregation program for a supplier as it is to just go out and bid buildings and be done with it. They have to have the customer service and the opt-outs and so forth. So now it's wide open. Your first one, you had a $25 early termination fee. That's no longer needed because, again, there's many suppliers that will say, well, I'm not going to charge that. So we have a separate one because some of your buildings could use more than 700,000. So we take them all, and I don't remember what your load size was, but we send it out and then come back with pricing. And the market's all over the place. It's still a very low market, gas and electric. So, you know, we have clients that we've had for a long time in the government sector where, you know, they're paying much higher, in the high 5s and 6s, maybe back in 2008, 2009, because that's where the market was. And now it's quite low.
I get surprised all the time calling, texting, they want to come to me, Southeast Ohio, all over the place.
And so, and just because you had some township trustees here, we handle all the townships in the county as well. We have for many years, I think since 2011. So what I'm assuming we will do, Mayor, is since you're up in July, because this was our first contract with you, and I believe the county government aggregation program is up in May. So I believe what we'll try to do is have them end at the same time, so that, again, it's still bulk purchasing. I mean, you won't be on the same contract, because that's the county and the townships had ceded authority, and that's how that was, but you can always cede authority, you just don't need to. you're your own aggregator. We take care of the paperwork and so forth. If there's filings twice a year through the PUCO, we take care of that. We get them signed, get a notary, and we do the filings and pay the fee. But that's probably where we're gonna try to go. Can I have one more minute? Let me just, this will be short, because there's really nothing to do on it now, but I can go back and talk further. About a year ago, we started working, well, Mark Fry, the owner of Palmer, was investigating and working on solar, which we had done previously and chose not to go that direction. But we're back in it, and now we're at the final stages of the current array. We are through the County Commissioners Association and now the Ohio Municipal League, but it's mostly CCAO, but all entities can be in it. We are going to do a power purchasing agreement to have a solar array somewhere in southern Ohio. The developers will determine where that's going to be. And we have gone out to our counties for facilities and for aggregation. And why we feel this one will work, because again, where we are in the market and so forth, but this is a PPA, where we will not own the array. And what we're doing is, we call it like a hedge. Take out the solar, 20 to 25% of your load, facilities, aggregation, will be fixed at a rate through this solar array for the next 20 to 25 years. And then the rest of it would be at current market. So solar arrays last 20 to 25 years right now. So that's why it's a long-term agreement. The counties are doing 2 PPAs because you can't go further than 10 years for a contract. We have, I believe, 47 counties participating, and within that is a combination of facilities, Fulton County facilities, Henry County, Defiance, they're all in, and also their aggregations. And so the aggregations make up of majority townships, but there's villages and cities in there as well. And it'll be, right now, the largest array in the state. We're finishing up who is in for this round. We're anticipating that there will be more to come once we determine where we end up with the price. But whatever the price is going to be when the PPA is signed, that is the rate it will be for 20 to 25 years. So we'll still do these RFPs to suppliers for 2 years, 3 years, but when we send out the RFP, the suppliers will know that, let's say 75% of the load is where the market is now, but they have to take into consideration that 25% is going to be at this fixed rate, whatever that rate ends up being. And we had our community sign LOI, letter of intent, that you intend to participate if we hit these measures. You know, if it's going to be below a certain price per kilowatt hour. And there's some other things, but we have to be able to tell the developers when we go out to RFP, what kind of a load are we anticipating. So with 47 counties, it's going to be quite large. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's something I wanted to bring up in front of you because if there's true interest, I can come back soon.
Yeah, I was going to say,
But-
we really don't have that much information on this, do we?
Correct. So let me send you some information. And what we're doing with the aggregations that we're sending out this for 2021, we're keeping that into consideration if we're going to go out 2 years or 3 years. Because it's not built yet. We got delayed because of COVID. You know, initially it was going to be May 1st, we were going to get to all our counties and talk this up, and then everything came to a stop, obviously. So we're trying to get it out in the next month, the RFP, but we're looking at 2022 before it would be up and functioning.
And you already have 47 counties, you said,
Mhm.
at the ADU?
Yeah, yeah. So let me send you information and you can disperse, and then we can talk to you further. But Fulton County is it, for the LOI,
Right.
which is what everyone's doing. There's no, no contract signed. You know, it's that you intend to do it, and then once we have the PPA, come back and look at that to see if they're truly gonna sign the contract.
Lots of good information.
Yes.
Any other questions before we move forward?
Do you have somebody in the city that actually a person can go to ask about being in with this?
Actually, Amy comes to Keith and myself, and then Tom does all of the legal when we're doing all of the comparables and the pricing and stuff like that, and then we bring it to council before you vote on it, so that you guys can see.
But if a resident calls and has a question, is that what you mean?
Is
Or-
that what you mean, or do you mean?
Yeah, resident.
Okay.
Commercial.
So
Okay.
if anyone has questions, you guys call me. And we're out of Toledo, so,
Right.
but we answer residential
In the
questions.
city that already has this versus Toledo Edison.
Opting out, you mean?
Yeah.
You probably have,
I was gonna say, I would have no. clue
I would
what
have-
percentages.
I have that, I'm sure we can get that at the office. I can let you know what the percentages, the percentages are high. I would assume you have about 80% of your residents that qualify
Yeah.
are in the GovAg. Because you've had GovAg for a very long time. We just became your consultants in it in 17. So
you
it's been
got a phone
established.
number, Amy?
I'm sorry?
You got a telephone number?
Yes. Here, I'll just give you my card.
That's super. I get 7 Edison bills a month.
It's IPA talking, I got
There's a
first
three.
on the one's killing, and the one's killing.
My head's spinning with all these acronyms.
I know, the acronyms.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's just
So-
your field, it's everybody's
I
field,
know.
has their own.
So if you want me to look at your bills, just send them to me.
Okay,
Scan them, email them, and we'll go from there.
okay.
So, you know, I'm sorry, besides the Ohio Municipal League and the CCAO, our core business was industrial. We have many, couple hundred clients that are industrial, hospitals, and then we have 5 chambers of commerce that we work with as their energy program. So we're in Toledo, this all started in 2008 with the Toledo Chamber, which is where I work. And so since they're all businesses, we help them with gas and electric. We can't do your gas because you're Ohio Gas, and you cannot shop at Ohio Gas. But we're Columbia Gas in Toledo, and we can do Dominion East and so forth. So we have gas and electric that we assist with.
Yeah.
But half of our business is commercial, and half is government.
And you came through the Ohio Municipal.
Yes,
Which we are representing. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. With that, we're going to move on to a Finance Committee report.
Okay, the Finance Committee met last Tuesday, September 29th at noon. Members present were Shane Chamberlain and myself, also staff present, Mayor Hayner, Chief Torbett, Jamie DeCare, Chief Chipman, Chief Sluter, and Andrea Gerken. The main topic of the meeting was the coronavirus fund and what needed to be done with them. So the meeting was turned over to Jamie DeCare, the finance director. She gave a brief explanation of the funds received, the funds still expected, and what has been spent so far. She said the police and fire wages, including dispatch, could come out of those funds through December. And she also provided a wish list of items for which these funds may be used. And I think all the council members got a version of those. And said there may be additional funds that come in if other municipalities in the county do not spend their money, and then we could get a portion of those. And we had a general discussion about the funds. We did not have to select how the money was going to be spent at that time. We just had to agree to basically accept the funds and put them into the budget. And then after they're in the budget, then we can talk about where they're going to go. And so after some discussion, We voted, it was passed to create a coronavirus budget fund, and that passed 2-0. And then after that, Keith Corbett advised the members that they are going to be using the capital fund to pay for the stormwater replacement line between Leggett Street and the ditch. And there was just a very brief discussion, and the meeting was adjourned at 12:14. Anybody have any questions? Pretty short and sweet, you didn't have to do anything as far as
Yes, you do
allocating.
need a motion to go ahead and accept the,
I would make the motion
Here's
to
a-
accept the finance committee's recommendation.
I'll second it.
Motion to accept the Finance Committee recommendation to allow the Director of Finance to create a budget for the coronavirus fund, moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Steeritz. Is there any discussion? Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Steeritz?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Gray?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
we're going to move on to our department head reports, and Rick is Columbus? Georgia.
Not sure.
I can't remember which one.
I think
One
he's
of the
moving
sons.
his parents back up.
Oh, that's right, he's moving his parents home. Okay. So, Assistant
maybe
Chief,
he's in
well,
Australia.
no, he's not.
This month's Fire Prevention Month, this week in particular is Fire Prevention Week. Staff's been working with various organizations on getting outreach in a different method, and that's gone very well. And other than that, we continue to work with the townships and the city administration regarding the EMS contracts moving forward.
Any questions for Assistant Chief? Chief Chittenden?
Not much to report from the police department. Everything's been going pretty much as smooth as normal can anyway. The other thing I did want to mention, we're having a drug take back day on October 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They'll be set up outside of Walmart for anybody to drop off any unused prescription pills that they would like to get rid of. Or at the police department lobby, we have a drop box that's open 24/7. But the National DEA Day will be October 24th for that.
Are the Durangos on the road yet?
No, I actually went down to check on them last week. They got the light bars on and everything. He's waiting on the push bumpers to come in. For some reason, those are a little behind from the COVID stuff, but they are coming along, and hopefully, depending on how fast those come in, hopefully within like about the next month or so. They look sharp.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, and Jamie is not here today, so we'll move on to Tom. Oh, no, Keith, sorry.
That's
How did
okay.
I miss you?
I turned sideways and I
I'm in a
disappeared.
hurry.
I needed it.
Right, yeah, Keith, Tom. Sorry, Keith.
Our fall cleanup went very well. We had 29 containers that were filled up in the week. Actually, they had to shut the doors at noon on Saturday, and they weren't out of there until 3 p.m. because we had so many people lined up on Saturday to get it done. We will be putting it in the budget for next fall. It seemed to work out better for us in the fall. I know a lot of people would prefer it in the spring, but with the changing of the seasons and getting everything around personnel-wise, it just works better for public works in the fall. Just a reminder, with the leaves starting to fall, we will be starting leaf pickup here sometime the end of this month. Once we start the leaf pickup, brush will be suspended, so keep your sticks. We have no place for them to be dropped off. We will start that back up after the first of the year. And the only other thing I've got is our chemical bids. The anticipated chemical bids will be going out tomorrow in the mail and being posted in the papers to be opened in November. That's it, unless you have any questions.
Just get that on the Facebook page, because a lot of people do get frustrated when the sticks sit for 2 months.
Yep.
Okay.
You are going out one more time, though, right?
Oh yeah, they will be out at least one more time on both sides, and then we'll do one final sweep of the city before we, now if there's a storm or something in November or December, we'll pull the stuff back out, but for the most part, we don't do any stick pickup while we're doing leaves, because we're utilizing the same vehicles.
You have to change the box, don't you?
Yes, you have to change the box, and it's a process.
So what you're saying is somebody will come and take care of the leaves at my property, like break them?
No,
No?
not saying
Okay.
that.
No, okay.
You gotta get them to
Do
the
you have
curb.
trees out there
We do,
yet?
we do. Yeah, we
Do
do.
you have free labor that lives at your house anyway, so?
Get the 2 leaves out of trees.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
Yep.
Tom?
So will be working with the folks on the EMS contract as part of those discussions. And I think now that we're at a point apparently where folks are ready to move forward, we'll be looking at discussing retaining outside counsel, what that will look like. So we'll be working with the folks on that. Also, we had some really good bargaining sessions with the firefighters the last couple of weeks. I think we were getting close to having something that we can present to council, I guess probably by way of a committee meeting in the next couple of weeks for its review of the contract. And I can't not say anything about the trails, Shane, I'm sorry.
It's okay, go ahead.
I walked the trails
We're
this
gonna put it
week.
on the agenda soon, Mayor, okay?
Trail.
Trail, okay.
Trail.
I walked the
That'll
trails
be 7.5.
this weekend, and 2 things, observations. One is it's just beautiful out there right now with the changing of the leaves.
It is.
And it's just a great time to be out there. The other thing I just wanted to point out, well, actually 2 things, but one is that Ed Nossinger and Mike Murray have been out there finishing up the surface of the trail. And now all the underlying the base is installed, and also pretty much most of the frosting or the smooth stuff on the top. And the trails just look really great. Might have to touch up a few spots, but I think by and large it's pretty much the surfaces are completed. We met with Keith and myself, met with, and Ed Nossinger met with Todd Hansen this past week to discuss some preliminary ideas about trailhead signs, which would be placed, the thought is to place them at each of the locations at the North Woods where you could go in. So no matter where you would go in, you'd have a map of the trail with some distances on the trails and maybe some highlights like where Indian Hill is, where the connector is, the wetland areas and that sort of thing. So, but the trails are really, I mean, if you haven't been out there and you have a moment to get out there, now's a great time it's a great time to do it. And I guess lastly, I would say, I understand that congratulations is in order to the Wauseon High School girls golf team, who, as I read it, finished 4th at the districts this afternoon and punched their ticket to Columbus next week.
Yay. Good
So
deal. Happy
congratulations to the Lady Indians for their great performance today.
Also, they also won league too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
That's all I have.
Always a well-rounded report.
Trying to get in some good stories,
I know,
some good
right.
positive reports.
I'm going to add a little bit to your, back to the trails, is the fact that there was some, Ed had spoken with the WBT team, and they went out and they planted a bunch of ground plants and stuff with Shelley Kuhner's advice, and there's benches out there for people to sit on, and they wanted to make it look a little bit nicer in those areas, just, as a reflection area. And so they went and planted, I'm gonna say probably 30 or 40 hostas
Yeah, I
in
saw
that
that.
area, and some cone flowers, and just tried to make it a little bit, more aesthetic for people who want to just sit and look at those beautiful colors and stuff, because it is gorgeous out there.
At my age, I could use my house too out there.
Yeah, and watering all those plants was not fun. We had to
You
take it back
talked
and
about
forth.
a map on the signs. Is there any kind of a small paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, it's got a map on it, with distances that people could look at without,
Yeah, there is not yet, but I think that's that's a thought to put together once we get the design of the paths, the new paths, is, figured out where those are. They have a pamphlet, kind of a brochure
Yeah.
that we can have around town that people can pick up at various locations. Yeah, I think, we're starting to talk about some things that we could do to market trails now that we've got them pretty much, sort of on the end run there to get the word out, to let people know that it's a kind of a sort of a hidden secret of Wauseon, if you will. Not a lot of people know. I mean, a lot of people do, but there are a lot of people in Wauseon outside the county that aren't aware of the trails.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the answer, Steve, is yes, that's coming.
Okay, let's move on. We have a first reading on legislation for Resolution 2020-17. It's a resolution to amend ordinance 2019-8, annual appropriation ordinance by authorizing the Director of Finance to increase or decrease certain line account appropriations within the various funds listed within the year 2020, and that's for coronavirus funds.
First reading.
Second.
Motion to place resolution 2020-17 on, it goes on final reading because it's budgetary. Moved by Council President Chamberlain and seconded by Councilor Schneider. Is there any discussion? Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Steeritz?
Yes.
Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Second reading of legislation, ordinance 2020-7. It's an ordinance amending section 957 of the codified ordinances of the city of Wauseon, and that would pertain to the rotary account.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion to place ordinance 2020-7 on second reading moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Councilor Griggs. Is there any discussion? Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Steeritz?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, ordinance 2020-8, an ordinance amending section 191.081A of the codified ordinance of the city of Wauseon pertaining to resident income tax credit.
Second. Go ahead, Herb.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the idea.
How'd you do that?
You seconded first.
Well, you can put down either one.
Yeah.
All right, motion to place ordinance 2020-8 on second reading moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Council President Chamberlain. Is there any discussion? Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Steeritz?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, the third reading, let's see, we have nothing, but under new business, I need a motion to waive any hearing before the Fulton County Budget Commission regarding apportionment of the undivided local government fund and agree to the Fulton County Budget Commission alternate plan of apportionment of said local government fund on the basis of need and prior year's apportionment, and further agree to accept the sum of $123,540.56 for the undivided local government fund as the city of Wauseon's share of the undivided local government fund. Yeah, nope, we're not gonna do it. Who writes these things?
I'll make a motion then.
I'll second it.
Motion to waive any hearing before the Fulton County Budget Commission regarding the local government fund, I'm cheating, moved by Councilor Schneider and seconded by Councilor Steeritz. Is there any discussion? Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Steeritz?
Yes.
Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
And Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Thank you. Under new business, motion to allow the Director of Public Services to use the unencumbered balance in the Public Works Capital Fund account, you see the number, to make the necessary improvements to the storm sewer line between Leggett Street and the adjoining ditch. This is where we had the issues a year ago.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion to allow the Director of Public Service to use the unencumbered balance in the Public Works Capital Fund to make necessary improvements to the storm sewer line between Leggett Street and the adjoining ditch, moved by Councilor Stickley and seconded by Councilor Griggs. Is there any discussion? Councilor Stickley?
Yes.
Councilor Griggs?
Yes.
Councilor Steeritz?
Yes.
Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Okay, I need a motion to pay the bills, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion to approve and pay the bills as presented, moved by Counselor Schneider and seconded by Counselor Stickley. Is there any discussion? Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
Counselor Stickley?
Yes.
Counselor Steeritz? Counselor Griggs?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion to adjourn moved by Counselor Stickley and seconded by Counselor Steeritz. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.